us stood right here wearing hard hats and safety vests for the groundbreaking of what was then simply known as 85 Tremont. At that time, we were standing outside a vacant industrial complex that had been underutilized for decades. We talked about what this building could become, but like all redevelopment projects, there was still a lot of work ahead of us. Today, we're here to mark the completion of a community with 82 new homes for Meriden residents, and that's a stunning transformation in just 2 years. For those of you who attended the groundbreaking, you may remember that I described adaptive reuse by borrowing a phrase from my daughter, who was then 8 years old at the time. She called these buildings surprise buildings because they're the same on the outside, but completely different on the inside. I think if she were here today, she would agree that this is a pretty good surprise. This building was originally constructed in 1887 as the first purpose-built facility for the Aeolian Company. For decades, the company manufactured player pianos and organs and the music scrolls used to play different tunes right here in Meriden and helped establish this city as an important center of American industry. The company expanded this facility here in Meriden 3 times, in 1893, 1901, and 1920, to keep up with the vigorous demand for its products. We took a look back at historical records, and that shows that in 1918, the workforce of this property was roughly 500 people per day. In the early 1920s, the Aeolian Company was the largest producer of music rolls in the United States, with production of the rolls concentrated here at the Meriden factory. Unfortunately, the advent of the record player, coupled with the Great Depression, presented existential threats to the company's business model. Production ceased at this plant in 1930, and like many historic industrial complexes throughout New England, this property fell into disrepair. What once represented economic opportunity became a vacant landmark and a reminder of what had been lost. But today it has a new purpose. Tremont Flats has transformed this historic property into 82 mixed-income apartments while preserving an important piece of Meriden's history. The project also remediated a contaminated brownfield site, addressed decade-old environmental contamination, and brought an historic asset back into productive use. At a time when Connecticut urgently needs more housing, that's something of which our entire team can be proud. And it's also an engine for economic development. I'm happy to report that 56% of the hours that were worked here in this project were worked by minorities. That's an applause line, folks. But projects like this don't happen because of one organization or one individual. They happen because of public agencies, elected officials, lenders, investors, designers, contractors, community organization, and residents who all work together toward a shared goal. I want to thank the Connecticut Department of Housing, the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority, the Department of Economic and Community Development, KeyBank, the City of Meriden, the North End Neighborhood Association, our design and construction teams, and the many individuals who helped move this project from conception to reality. I also want to recognize the city's broader investments in North Meriden. Together with Tremont Flats, approximately $2.5 million is being invested in local recreational amenities, including upgrades to North End Fields to your left, a new playscape, a full-court basketball court, which is coming soon, pedestrian pathways, drainage improvements, and additional parking. These investments help ensure that the benefits of redevelopment extend beyond this building and into the surrounding neighborhood. And most importantly, I want to thank our residents. At the end of the day, this project isn't about financing structures, construction schedules, or historic tax credits. It's about creating homes and opportunities for people. Less than 2 years ago, this was a vacant industrial complex. Today it's home to families, workers, seniors, and residents who are helping write the next chapter of this building's history. That's something we're excited to celebrate today. And because of this celebration, we wanted to make today a little more fun. Following the program, we'll have 2 units open for viewing, along with our community building to your right. And we have Blue Chip Creamery, a local ice cream shop here serving up ice cream. So don't be shy. If you're interested in trying some of the ice cream, you're welcome to get up and get some while the speaking program is going on. You'll also notice that we're giving away hacky sacks today. And I'm not going to be modest, this was my idea, I'm very proud of it. Hacky sacks were popular in the 1990s, and apparently they're popular again. Thanks to social media, the humble hacky sack has made a comeback and is finding a whole new audience. And I actually think that's kind of fitting for today's event. So, there's a basket in the back with a hacky sack. We have the Tremont Flats colors and the Tremont Flats logo. So this is your official Tremont Flats hacky sack. Get them while they're hot. They're now, they're wow. But in some ways, Tremont Flats is its own comeback story. We took a building that had been overlooked for decades, preserved what made it special, invested in its future, and gave it a new purpose for a new generation. So thank you all for being here. Yeah, I'll take an applause line. I'm going to pivot into our speaking program now. Our first speaker this afternoon has served as Lieutenant Governor since 2019. Prior to her current role, she served as Secretary of State from 1999 to 2011 and a member of the Connecticut House of Representatives from 1993 to 1999. A native of New Haven, she worked as an attorney before running for elected office. Now in her second term, she has worked alongside Governor Ned Lamont to champion affordable housing and incentivize the construction of thousands of new units of housing across the state. Please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysewicz.
Well, thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us to celebrate this new chapter in Meriden's history. And I've been proud to watch this project since it started in 2022, when the mayor and our housing builders and our legislators gathered right here. And there was just a pile of rubble, a lot of trash, a lot of rocks, a lot of bricks lying around, and we were there to celebrate getting a brownfields cleanup grant because there was environmental work that needed to be done before housing could be built here. And the governor and I were proud to provide that, because if we hadn't, this whole project would never have come to fruition. And it's so exciting to be here to see what was a dilapidated building, an eyesore, something that was just sitting and falling apart, something that was once a place of employment for hundreds of people, where people built pianos, but now it is a place that's providing beautiful housing for 82 families, and 71 of the units are affordable, which is so exciting at a moment in our state's history where we need affordable housing more than ever. And this is absolutely one of the best things I get to do as Lieutenant Governor, is to come and celebrate the opening of new affordable housing, especially when it's in a place that used to be sitting empty, idle, and dilapidated. So it's very, very exciting. So happy for the families that have moved in to this beautiful building. Thank you so much to all of the partners who helped make this happen. Our Department of Housing, our Department of Economic and Community Development, our local leaders, your Meriden legislative delegation. It took a lot of people to make this happen. So congratulations. This is so very exciting, not just for the Meriden community, but for the state of Connecticut. This is a model of what should be done in every town in the state. Congratulations to everyone. I'm proud to be here.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, and thank you for joining us today to celebrate this important milestone. Our next speaker has represented this section of Meriden in the Connecticut House of Representatives since 2020. He is an attorney and partner at the Meriden law firm of Mahone, Quinn, and Mahone. A resident of Meriden, he has been a commissioner, treasurer, and chairman of the Meriden Housing Authority. His work at both the state and local level directly supports projects like 85 Tremont, ensuring that residents here have access to safe and affordable housing options. Please put your hands together for State Representative Michael Quinn.
Thank you all very much. This is fantastic. I remember when we were here in October of 24 for the groundbreaking. A lot of work had already started on the building, but there was still a long way to go. And as Dan had said, I had spent 10 years as a commissioner on the Meriden Housing Authority Board, so I had some sense of the complications that you run into with these very complicated financial structures to make these projects work. So when they said, oh, you know, we probably will be open in about less than 2 years, my first thought was, no. It'll probably be 3 or 4. I have no doubt it'll be done, but it'll probably be a little bit longer than that. Well, Trinity Financial and their partners delivered on every promise that they made in getting this project to where we are today for a grand opening. And I am thrilled to have been involved in that process, thrilled to be here today to see it done, and thrilled for what I hope will be future partnerships between Trinity and the City of Meriden on other buildings, because this is the way that you do these things and get them done right. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Quinn, for your advocacy on behalf of Meriden and for your support of housing, economic development, and community investment. We appreciate it. I do want to recognize Representative Santiago. I don't know if she's here. Oh, okay. Thank you for your support. Senator Hockadell was not able to join us today, but we appreciate her support of this project throughout the process. Congresswoman Jahana Hayes was not able to join us today, but we are happy to have a representative from her office here to speak on behalf of Representative Hayes. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Megan Perry.
Hello, everyone. I'll try to be loud. I have a soft voice. Again, my name is Megan Perry. I'm here on behalf of my boss, Congresswoman Jahana Hayes, who is currently in Washington, D.C. for votes as the House is in session. She wanted me to make sure to demonstrate how her commitment to affordable housing initiatives on a federal level have helped maintain redevelopments like this one today. Her support for budget appropriations for the Housing Choice Voucher Program, capacity building for community development, the Home Investment Partnership Program, and lastly, the McKinney-Vento Homelessness Assistant Grants, wow, that was a mouthful, are just a few ways the Congresswoman continues to elevate and amplify affordable housing here in Connecticut as paramount. Congresswoman Hayes sends her sincere congratulations on today's historic redevelopment and thanks all public and private partners involved who brought this to fruition. Thank you again for having us and congratulations.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you. Please extend our gratitude to Congresswoman Hayes for her support. Turning now to our financing partners, our next speaker was first appointed to lead the Department of Housing by Governor Ned Lamont in 2019, and she was reappointed for a second term in 2023. As commissioner, she leads the state agency responsible for all housing-related matters. Under her direction, DOH has completed more than 15,000 housing units. She has forged vital public-private partnerships with financial institutions, service providers, nonprofits, and real estate developers. She is also the board chair of the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority. Please join me in welcoming Commissioner Sela Musquera Bruno to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. And then thank you for inviting me. It's really a pleasure to be here in Meriden. State Representative Santiago and Quinn, thank you for the work and for the support to build more housing that is affordable to the residents in Meriden. So the Department of Housing has been pretty busy since 2019. As Dan mentioned, we have completed 15,000 units and we have 6,400 on the construction, not only in the cities but also in the suburbs, not only rental housing but also homeownership. And what our mission is to ensure that residents have options for housing that is affordable to all different levels and to all different type of families. The department has invested about $1.3 billion that have generated another $5.5 billion in development activities. So we are pretty busy, and we don't do this alone. We do this in partnership with our sister agencies, CHFA, DECD, and other agencies that are part of our administration. But I also have to thank the governor, Governor Lamont, and Lieutenant Governor for the support that they have provided to the departments. Because if they did not give us the resources, we wouldn't be able what we're doing. We are busy, we are active, and we are continue making a difference in the state. And we look for that support that the governor and Lieutenant Governor has given us, along with our legislators. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do this. And just a little bit on home ownership. We also have a program called TTO. It's a signature program for the governor. In Meriden, we have about 300 families that became first-time homeowners. That's an additional $8 million that have come to the city of Meriden. So we will continue doing the work that we're doing. We'll continue to make a difference in our neighborhoods, in our small towns. Happy to work with anyone that wants to produce more housing that is affordable to our residents. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Selah, and thank you for DOH's investment in this. $9.5 million. She had the number right. $9.5 million is a significant investment on behalf of DOH. I told all the speakers to keep it to 3 and 4 minutes, and man, people are staying on time. I love it. So we're going to keep rolling here. I'm honored to welcome our next speaker, who has been the dynamic leader of Connecticut Housing Finance Authority since 2019. As the first female leader in CHFA's 50-year history, she has paved the way for future generations. Under her guidance, CHFA continues to push grant boundaries, earning recognition from the National Council of State Housing Agencies for its groundbreaking efforts to expand affordable housing in the state. Before taking the helm at CHFA, she was Chief Financial Officer for the Illinois Housing Development Authority. We sincerely appreciate CHFA providing $15 million of financing for this project. Please give a warm welcome to CHFA CEO, Nanthini Natarajan.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nanthini Natarajan. I'm the CEO of the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority. Like Lieutenant Governor Weissman, I also take every opportunity to come to these ribbon cuttings, groundbreakings, because really each of these represents more than just a ribbon cutting. In this particular case, it is really the completion of a transformation. It's a vacant building that's been restored. It's a part of Meriden's history that can now take Meriden's future into the future. A property that was once disinvested that has now been revitalized, creating momentum for economic development, for community building, for neighborhood revitalization, for creating homes, high-quality homes for the residents, the households who will occupy it. This building has always had a story. It's been a part of the history of Meriden, but now it has a future. I always start with the thank yous, but and so they're very important because we, as Lieutenant Governor said, there's not one entity, there's not one funding source, it's not once, it's a collection. It's a really collaborative, creative commitment to creating this type of investment. So I want to thank the Lieutenant Governor and the Governor for their support, their deep support of affordable housing across Connecticut. Thank you to the Connecticut General Assembly members who are here today, to the Congresswoman Hayes, as well as the entire federal delegation, to my board chair, Commissioner Mascara Bruno, our partners at DOH and DECD, the City of Meriden for your support and your vision for this site. I want to thank the team at Trinity Financial. We work with a number of developers who want to build housing here in Connecticut, and Trinity is one of the firms that we really enjoy working with because they do very high quality work, and they have other developments in Hartford as well as in Windsor Locks currently. So keep working here in Connecticut. We're happy to have you. And most of all, thank you to my team at CHFA. There's a couple of folks here in the audience, but without their work, I would not be standing here. So very quickly, in summary, CHFA supported this development with financing. That means with tax credits, as well as with loan funds in the amount of more than $18 million. It was also supported by an investment made by Key Bank through its tax credit program. I think one of the strengths of Tremont Flats is that it will serve households across a variety of incomes. At CHFA, that is one of the things that we consider to be an important facet of our policy priorities, that housing stability and housing strength and neighborhood strength requires a variety of housing options and a variety of incomes. And that is really what economic diversity represents here in Connecticut. So with that, I would like to end by saying a year and a half ago, I don't know where exactly we stood, but we stood somewhere around here, and we talked about what this place could be. Today, we're standing and talking about what it has become. So it's more than a plan, it's more than a construction site, and it's more than a historic building. It's home. On behalf of CHFA, congratulations to the new residents of Tremont Flats. Welcome home.
Thank you, Anthony. And I do want to recognize two individuals from CHFA. I'm sure that Anthony has a list that's too long to share here, but I have two individuals, Debbie Alter and Colette Slover. I've been working very closely with both of them, so thank you for all of your work. Grinding through spreadsheets and ConApps, there's an immeasurable amount of work that goes into these projects, so thank you for your time and your work. Rounding out our state agency partners, our next speaker has been a key figure in advancing community investment initiatives for the Department of Economic and Community Development since 2022. His direction of DECD's Community Investment Fund has played a key role in helping to facilitate economic development projects across the state, including right here at Tremont Flats. At the local level, he was a selectman in the town of Old Saybrook from 2019 to 2025. Please welcome Deputy Commissioner Matt Puglisi to the podium.
Thank you, Dan, very much. It's wonderful to be here in Meriden this afternoon to celebrate the ribbon cutting of Tremont Flats project. And it's really exciting. This was a round one Community Investment Fund recipient. And so Dan and to the Trinity Financial team, thank you very much for going on that journey with us. That was a little bit bumpy as you were trying to finalize things, but we appreciate that commitment because it got us to where we are today. And I serve as Deputy Commissioner, but also as the Chief Investment Officer for DECD. And from that perspective, this site is a powerful example of what happens when state investment and local partnership and committed development come together to breathe new life into a community landmark. As everybody has said for decades, this mill sat as a reminder of Meriden's industrial past, but also environmental and economic challenges that left this neighborhood behind. And rebuilding neighborhoods is not easy. Each project presents different challenges, and Governor Lamont and Lieutenant Governor Bysewicz have made this look easy through their commitment to investing in vibrancy and in our neighborhoods across Connecticut, in programs like the DECD Brownfield Grant Program and the Community Investment Fund that put valuable tools in place for our towns and communities. And there's been significant support through these two programs. DECD's Brownfield program helped with $1.5 million across 2 phases, supporting environmental remediation, demolition of unsafe structures, hazardous material removal, and installation of sub-slab ventilation system, allowing this historic mill to be brought into compliance and be prepared for redevelopment. So also preserving that historic landmark in the community. And the Community Investment Fund contributed $3 million, administered by the Department of Housing, that reinforced the state's commitment to Meriden North End. These investments are not limited to state grants. DCD's Brownfield program helps private developers like Trinity make their dollars go farther. With every dollar from our Brownfield program, it leverages nearly $13 in non-state funding. What Trinity Financial and the City of Meriden have accomplished here is exactly the type of project that the Governor and Lieutenant Governor envision when they talk about stronger, more connected, vibrant communities. We're preserving history, expanding housing opportunity, and creating safer, healthier, more livable neighborhoods. So I'd like to thank all of our partners, the City, Department of Housing, CHFA, and Trinity, and the many stakeholders who have guided this complex redevelopment. Tremont Flats is proof of what's possible when we all work together. I'm glad to be here to celebrate with you today.
Thank you, Matt, and we really do appreciate DCD's investment of $4 million in this project, both SIF and Brownfield remediation funding. I just want to point out something. Matt mentioned demolition. We did have to demolish a structurally unsound addition to the building. You can see it, actually, the footprint of the building we've outlined behind you, and there's a sign marking it. This was a building that was actually constructed in the 1920s. It was the Aeolian Company's attempt at entering the record business. And when I say record, it's not like paper files, actual records that you play on a record player. It didn't go so well. They closed up shop here in 1930, but this was an addition that we wanted to recognize because it really was the demise of the Alien Company, but it was their attempt at entering that marketplace. Pivoting to our local partners, joining me next at the podium is someone who has served Meriden since 2019. Under his leadership, he has helped to spur growth and revitalization throughout the city. He has helped to implement an adaptive reuse overlay district, which was established in 2020, and which we use here in the redevelopment of Tremont Flats. Please give a big round of applause to Director of Economic Development, Joe Fest.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here also on behalf of the mayor today. He extends his apologies to everyone for not being able to attend as he is out of state at the moment. But these are some of his comments that I'm going to read to you today. I'd like to thank Dan and the entire team at Trinity Financial for their transformational investment in our community throughout this exciting project, along with the many public and private partners who supported funding, helped bring this vision to life. The state of our community provides high-quality living and an affordable cost for our residents. As Meriden continues to do its part and partner with developers on mixed-income, affordable housing initiatives, I hope this project will serve as a model for communities across Connecticut. And he would like to close with one comment. And I'm going to echo this, and that is what everyone up here is doing today. It's called partnerships. None of us can do any of this behind us individually. It takes all of us here, the city, the state, and developers and residents to make things like this today succeed. When you go inside later, you're going to notice something. I had the privilege of getting a little private tour yesterday with the mayor. You're going to notice the details throughout the building, the honor that you gave to the old factory that was here, the keyboards across the entrance right underneath the management office, to the fact that, and I remember the two of us walking down these stairs. There's a staircase that goes from the 4th floor all the way down that, of course, is not accessible right now because by no means, it wasn't safe when we did it. It's not safe right now. Well, it is safe. It's not handicap accessible and everything else for people to be walking on it. But that right there is the true character of Trinity Financial, the respect that they gave to the history of this building. And I'd like to welcome all new residents that from outside of Meriden to our city, and several, as I learned yesterday, that have transferred from other apartments to make this their home. I'm going to talk later about seeing if I can get a membership at the gym, because that was very nice. Over here, again, the detail that they went into to have a playroom right next to the gym with windows so that the parents can work out and still watch their children right across the way. So Trinity, thank you very much. DECD, DOH, all the funding that was put into this. Thank you for continually investing in the city of Meriden. These are definitely projects that we like and look forward to working with. Daniel and I will have a meeting later about possible next steps and where we can go and the next adventure within the city of Meriden. So thank you everyone for coming today.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you to the city for being a tremendous partner on this project. We really appreciate it. As Joe mentioned, Mayor Scarpati was not able to be here today, but I do want to recognize his support as well as the support of the 3 city managers that have helped to support this project over the past 6 years. Former city manager Tim Kuhn, former acting city manager Emily Holland, and current city manager Brian Daniels. Really appreciate all of their work and all of their support. I think that City Councilor at Large and Deputy Majority Leader Chad Cardillo is also here. So thank you for being here, Councilor. Turning now to our private sector partners, I'm excited to have KeyBank with us here today. KeyBank provided a $25 million construction loan and invested $27.5 million in the project's low-income housing tax credits and federal historic tax credits. Please put your hands together for Vice President at KeyBank Community Development Lending and Investment, Seaver Rickard.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you for getting through that mouthful of my title. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of KeyBank and to celebrate the ribbon cutting of Tremont Flats, an exciting milestone for the city of Meriden and for those that had the vision. Now, candidly, I don't know if I had the vision at first. I got there eventually, but I came here with Dan 3 years ago and with his whole team, and we toured the site. And as people have alluded to, there was weeds, there was crumbling brick, there was a vacant building, there were some commercial tenants on the first floor that Dan told me were likely to be out of there by the time we closed on the construction financing. But I'm glad that Dan and others were able to show me the vision because this is something that's truly special. Now, a lot of great things have been said about this development, but I would just also like to highlight, in addition to all the impact, it's just a super cool project. As Joe was getting at, it's just such a tasteful and transformative rehabilitation of this building that not only honors the history of the building, but of the region, while also not shying away from looking towards the future with its green aspects and the overall scope. Not only did it do all that, but it did it while dealing with a post-COVID construction market. It did that while abiding by SHPO and their construction design standards, and it still was able to deliver new quality, affordable housing. A truly incredible feat. It's also the gold standard for when my grandma asks if I'm working on anything interesting, and I point to this one, because this is the coolest project I think I've ever been a part of. But today is a lot more about just celebrating a new development. It's about celebrating progress. It's about celebrating partnership. It's about celebrating investment in a community with a strong past and an even brighter future. Projects like Tremont Flats represent the kind of thoughtful growth that strengthens neighborhoods, not just creating new housing, but new opportunity, new connectivity, and a renewed sense of place. At KeyBank, we believe deeply in the power of community-focused development. We strive to deliver more than just financing. We aim to serve as a partner in building vibrant, inclusive communities where people can live, work, and thrive. And Tremont Flats reflects just that commitment. It shows how when public and private partners align on a true vision, they can achieve sustainable growth and long-term impact. I want to recognize the many individuals and organizations who made today possible. I'm not doing the full titles, but the alphabet soup that many of us are familiar with. But to DOH, to JAFA, to DCD, to city, to state officials, to the entire design and construction team who actually physically built this building, to the sound and audio people who hosted this event today, and most of all to Dan Brazen and the whole Trinity Financial team. Each played a vital role in bringing this project from conception to reality. Your dedication and collaboration have created something truly meaningful. And now to the current and future residents of Tremont Flats, this is your home. We hope it becomes a place where connections are made, where memories are built, and where you feel part of the community. So once again, congratulations to everyone involved, and we're honored to have been able to play a small part. Thank you.
Thank you, Seaver. This was actually Trinity's first project with KeyBank, and we look forward to working with you again. Yes. I do also want to mention we had an investor in the state historic tax credits. Eversource was our investor in those credits, and we appreciate their investment. In addition, Capital for Change served as the pass-through for those state historic credits, so we appreciate their partnership. I don't know if Carla Weil is here, but thank you, Cassandra, for being here. Shifting now to the neighborhood level, it's a pleasure to introduce the president of the North End Neighborhood Association. He's a 39-year resident of Meriden, including 29 years right here in the North End, during which he has been a passionate advocate for this community. I've enjoyed getting to know him and the residents of this neighborhood over the past few years as we have presented at a few of their monthly meetings. Please join me in welcoming Steve Cardillo to the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephen Cardillo. I'm thrilled to stand before you today as the president of the North End Neighborhood Association. We want to extend a very warm welcome to the Tremont Flats apartment complex and its development team. We know that bringing a project like this to life takes a tremendous amount of vision, hard work, and perseverance. From the very beginning of planning process, we have appreciated the development commitment to collaborating with our neighborhood. They listened to our input, respected the character of our area, and worked with us to ensure this building is a positive addition to our community. A neighborhood is more than just a collection of buildings and streets. It is a community of people. We aren't just opening a new apartment complex today. We're opening the doors to the new neighbors, new friendships, and strong local economy. We're excited for our new residents to experience the charm, safety, and welcoming spirit that our neighborhood has to offer. To the future residents of Tremont Flats, we look forward to seeing you at our next monthly North End Neighborhood Association meeting. You have a beautiful new home, and we are so proud to have you in our community. Welcome to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you for your support. I also want to recognize Holly Wills, who is an active member of the North End Neighborhood Association as well, for her support along the way. Our final speaker today represents the reason all of us are here today. The success of Tremont Flats is best measured not in square footage, financing, but in the lives of the residents who now call this community home. Please join me in welcoming Tremont Flats residents Tiana Grant and her daughter Kendall.
Hi everyone, I'm nervous but excited to be here. You want to say yours? She wants to say her little speech first.
Hi everyone. Thank you for building our building.
Good afternoon everyone. My name is Tiana and I'm honored to be here today as a resident of this community. I'm a young mother and like many parents, everything I do is centered around giving my child the best life possible. My 4-year-old daughter, Kendall, is my motivation for everything, and my goal has always been to build a strong foundation so she can grow, thrive, and reach her full potential. For me, moving into this apartment represented much more than just a nice new place to live, even though it is really nice. But honestly, it wasn't about that. It came at a time in my life when I was working hard and pushing myself in a lot of different ways to build a better future for us both. The process was not always easy, and there were definitely moments when I wasn't sure how things would come together. Looking back, it was absolutely worth it. It reminded me that when I stay focused, stay committed, and keep my faith in God, things really do work out. I'd like to recognize Miss Sullivan, or Miss Maddie as we call her, who I first met at the beginning of this process. She was a consistent point of contact for me throughout everything, and I really value her patience and the way she stayed involved with us from start to finish, and still to this day. I'd also like to recognize the rest of the office staff as well. Everything they do day to day plays a big part in keeping things running here. What I appreciate most is that this experience has given us room to grow. It's allowed me to focus, keep moving forward, and build the kind of future I've always envisioned for my family. For Kendall, this is a place where she can feel safe, be herself, and make memories that'll last a lifetime. For me, it's a reminder that meaningful change often starts when preparation, perseverance, and opportunity come together. I want to thank everyone who had a hand in designing, creating, and restoring this building. Their work made it possible for me and other families to be here today, and it brought new life to a place with history. I'm proud to call this my new home, and I'm excited for what comes next for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiana. So we're in the home stretch, folks. At this point in the program, you're probably all just wondering, when am I going to stop talking so I can get some ice cream and play hacky sack? I get it. We are almost done. But there is an army of people who have brought us to this point, and I want to make sure that their work is recognized. So please just bear with me for a second. Consider these the spoken credits for this project. I have the pleasure of working with people who are passionate about their jobs, who push themselves to be creative every day, and most importantly, who are able to laugh with you in the good times and the not so good times. So here goes. Our general contractor, Newington-based Enterprise Builders, for breathing new life into this historic building and for your attention to detail. Thank you, Keith and Wayne Zarnecki, and to Mr. Joe Roth, who puts the word super in project supervisor. Our legal team, Brian Courtney and Sharon Spinelli at Updike Kelly Spellisy. Our supporting counsel at Howler and Sage. Our design and engineering team, Phil Renzi and Jeff Ashburn from TAT for designing a beautiful and thoughtful building. Our design and construction consultant, Matt Bagadano. Our relocation consultants, Mike McParlin and Betsy Boziak at Auxilium. My tax credit application consultant, Lou Trzeski from Newcastle Housing Ventures. Our geoenvironmental and geotechnical consultants at McPhail Associates for telling us where all the dirty dirt is. Our site civil and hazardous materials engineer, Ron Bomagen and Kathleen Payne from Fuss & O'Neill. Our structural engineers at MSP. Our MEP engineers at Pearson Engineering. Our historic consultant at Ryan. Our sustainability consultant at New Ecology. Our branding team, Hecht Horton and Whitney Vegas, who designed our logo and the signage you see around us. Our solar design build firm, Earthlight Technologies. Our PR consultant, Greg Lane. Our accountants at Cohn Resnick, and our market analysts at Ascendant Valuation Advisors. So that's everyone except the Trinity team. Now from Trinity Financial, I want to take a moment to recognize the property management team. So can everyone from Trinity Management please rise for a second? I just want to recognize your work. The folks on their feet now represent the interactions with our most important asset, our residents. Thanks to their work, we were able to process nearly 600 applications for the 82 units. I handed the building to them at the end of December, and they were able to lease up the building in 4 months. That is an incredible feat. So thank you again. thank my boss, Jim Keefe, even if he had some reservations along the way about what we were getting ourselves into. I can remember more than one phone call where you said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" My project managers, former coworker Amanda Alberta and Josh Dickens, our comptroller Christine Galgay, Chris Stanley and Alan Ladson from our design and construction team, our COO Rebecca Hemingway, Stacy Pagos and Stacy Polishuk, who, amongst other things, made this event possible. I want to thank Peak Events for the tent and everything you see around you today, our audio crew from KP Events, Meriden-based Rose Flowers and Gifts for the flowers, and our photographer, Steven. So that's it, folks. Blue Chip Creamery is here, ready to serve you some delicious. Yeah, we can applaud. We're done. Blue Chip Creamery is here if you want a tasty treat. We're going to do tours of 2 units, Unit 207 and Unit 208. We're also going to do tours of the community building. And inside the lobby, I do want to point out, we had a local artist based in North Haven, Molly Gambardella. She did 2 commissioned pieces for us, and I urge you to check those out when you're in the lobby. So thank you for being here, and enjoy the afternoon.